All right, we're back. 7-3 Headquarters podcast. We got the guest in, Lachy Hamill, down from Melbourne, good friend of mine. Does have a lot of history here in Tassie, but is currently residing in Burn City, brother. How you doing?
Good, bro. How are you?
Good, man. Good. It's good to have you on. Honestly, Lachy was when I thought of building this place, I always said you were the first guest that I wanted on. The first person, I think, with 7-3 and my personal creative side, you've been like such a big inspiration and such a big helping hand and support system. I wanted to get you on, and obviously with our close friendship, it just would be, the right thing to do, I feel.
Yeah, 100%. It's sick to finally be here, man. I've seen this whole thing, grow from the ground up. So it's nice that we're finally into it,
It's actually podcasts.
Yeah. You were one of the lads that were like, are you ever actually going to do a podcast? Yeah. It was getting like that. I can't lie. It was definitely getting to the point of where I was even getting frustrated with the fact that I wasn't. Wow. And also, of
good
course,
things take time though, bro. And
they do.
Yeah, you've done it properly.
They do, which I'm very glad. And of course, we got brother boy Hermit on the mic as well, joining us in, locking in. He just got his
test presses.
Yeah,
for my EP.
we just got back from listening to the test presses at Dames's place. Actually, it's an exciting moment.
It's
man.
very exciting. Locky's done all the production and engineering for all that, so that was pretty exciting to have the wax. And coincidentally, he was in Tas for the weekend.
Yeah,
so a week.
Sounds
here for the weekend?
fresh too. Nah, I'm going to Brizzy.
You're a disappointment
on
again.
Saturday. But
So when can people expect that? Do you think like a estimate of?
Probably end of August, bro. Because from getting the test presses, once we give him the all clear, it's about 6 weeks from then. And there's one little, 1 second of the record where there's a pop, and we've put in this much effort, so we might as well.
What would create that, do you think?
just
this print for it.
Yeah, when they make the master plates to actually stamp the records and stuff, they could get a little bit of dust on there, or just there's little tiny imperfections. And I don't know the ins and outs of the whole process, but that kind of thing. When they stamp the test presses and there's a little pop in there, and if it's in all the test presses, then it's a problem.
It was
just
in
one
4
or
of
two.
4, so we want to get that fixed. But I was aiming for end of August, so
it's pretty precise.
We've got 3 months.
We were looking into it. I don't remember who it was. I can't remember. I was looking into it one day and I struggled to understand the science behind it. Like it's actually,
it seems like witchcraft,
it's hectic.
It's
like
hectic,
it's full on.
The sound in little carvings
Yeah,
in this
yeah.
bit of
When
wax.
you really think
crazy.
about how they came up with the concept beforehand, when there was nothing to go off,
It's wild. It's fully analog too. Like if you don't have any speakers on or anything, you can hear the needle vibrating in the grooves and hear the music just off the needle vibrating.
That's
it's
what
wild.
we out when I got my first turntable. I hadn't turned my speakers on yet, but the record was spinning and I could still hear the music.
you can hear off the scratch of the.
It plays
yeah.
it just out loud. You don't need digital shit for it to work.
I need to get
It's
someone
crazy.
on here that makes vinyl
Yeah,
and
that would be
knows
cool.
how
That
to
would
and
be
can
cool.
actually explain in simple terms the thing behind it. I think Dane's going to say about the thing not being on. I noticed it before. Look, we're going to keep rolling. We'll chuck the sign on. We'll chuck it on.
Keep
Fuck
going.
Here we go live.
I noticed
raw.
that before and I was like, okay, the sign is not
We're in the
on.
trenches here.
Do you know where the...
Now we're back on.
Okay, we're back. Quite a little
A lot
difficulty
more
there.
lit up now.
The sign wasn't on. Speaking of that sign, and we'll definitely get into more of Lachy and his very interesting, busy life. That sign, though, was the first thing I remember ever buying for this place.
Yeah.
Weird thing to first buy. Like, it was, I think it cost me like $700 or something, but I bought this neon sign from these guys.
I think
and
that's very true to you, though.
Yeah,
you
it
have a
is.
vision and you're like,
yeah.
I need this
We'll
specific
buy the
thing.
sign and then we'll work the rest
It
out.
won't work, I rocked up here when we painted this wall and shit, and all these other walls were getting painted and shit, and you're just like, check me sign. No, I was like, that's just a you thing, you know what I mean? You had a vision.
It definitely is. But how you finding Melbourne, bro?
It's good, man. It's sick living in Melbourne, like right in the heart of it too. Like I'm over the road from Southern Cross Station.
Oh man, when I went there the other day, it was the easiest A to B I've had in Melbourne ever.
Yeah.
Obviously
legit,
we can't
bro.
disclose my man's address, but it is simple.
You
But
go from the airport to the main
Pretty
part
much, yeah.
and walk across the road.
Skybus pretty much drops you right off on my doorstep, and it's good. It's good. It's sick, man. I love Melbourne. It's like so busy. There's always so much going on. It never really sleeps. Like, yeah, it's sick. It's sick.
What would you like? any collaborations with any lads up there as a recent? I did see that you were recording Little Snow the other day, and Greeley, and then Stavros was on the film. That was like a very interesting link up, bro.
To me that was weird, eh?
Fair play.
The song is not too bad. I listened to it today, but then when I seen the two, because they're just very different artists with what they would write about, especially now.
Yeah,
I was just like, but it is. I think the feedback for it is pretty cool. They're kind of on
like a bit of a just a similar tip, personally. I think at the moment, like I know, like Little Snow's like I never really, I've never met him before until I started recording him and shit. And I've only recorded him a little bit, but like. He's a very down to earth, super, super smart, really nice guy. But he just loves making fun sort of music, you know, that's like a little bit like party, sort of vacuous, like fun rap. Like he's not trying to, that's just like how he likes to enjoy himself.
I
and
only
shit.
knew him from like when that body bag era started first coming up, and he was doing the stuff with Husky, and it was all like trap.
Yeah.
Move this, move that.
It's funny that though, like,
and then Greeley's on his.
With someone, how we perceive someone based on what we see on their music, their social. I've definitely copped that as well. Like, and even the thought of that is like, there's people around the world have like 1,000 different like ideas on who you are to them. You know what I mean? Like we believe we are who we are to us, but then and we can just get like. Kind of critiqued or kind of viewed upon with what we put out. That's why I definitely know that you've got to be really careful with what you put out there, because if you're standing for something but then what you're putting out doesn't align with it, there's going to be a discrepancy on how people kind of view you, which is quite important, I think, anyway, especially when you're doing music and putting yourself out there.
Yeah, it's an interesting one, man. Like I think I've copped that a little bit too. Like, like you're actually a lot nicer and like a lot like I guess in my music sometimes. So I think it's a lot of the time it's something where you can really channel like different sides of yourself, and like, you know, sometimes some frustrations, and sometimes like, this is, especially with hip hop. Like I know you are like that as well, bro. Like, this is how hip hop should be. Like this is, I'm just asserting this, but like in person you're like, a bit more supportive and shit. But
100%.
I don't know. It's just a vehicle where you can really just express sort of all
like a
sides
certain part of
you
yourself.
feel.
Like it is nice in that way. You can express a certain part that maybe you keep somewhat contained, or maybe it's not the whole person of who you are, but you can express like that gnarly side of you, or that hardcore, or that love for that gritty, hip hop stuff like Hermit does, like it's pretty cool.
Well, you can express all sides of yourself when you're being creative, whereas like something that I learned a few years ago was like you will show different sides of yourself to different sorts of crowds that you're around, you know what I mean? And
definitely.
That's why, what you were just yarning about, that certain people will be like, oh, I thought you were like this or like that. It's like, nah, there's a whole package, but you heard that and that magnetized to how you perceive things, and it's like
you do open up a lot more in your music, and you do get a lot more personal than you would with someone you don't know at all.
Definitely.
And that's
sometimes even more than your friends as well.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, 100%, bro. I even feel like some of the music that I've made is really heartfelt and stuff, and it's probably just me being my own worst critic. I'm like, I'm not actually just this all the time. This is just a part of me in this moment, and I want to express this, as a kind of thing.
Yeah, and that's the thing too. Like people sometimes get a little bit in their head about like whether or not they're being super consistent with how they're portraying themselves in their music, or this or that, and like, or like whether or not it really is gonna like have longevity. It's like, is this how I'm always gonna feel? But it's like, you're not. People aren't always hella consistent, in general. And like, if your music's a reflection of yourself, people are multifaceted. People are different. Like people can feel a certain type of way one day, and then feel different another day. And people can grow and evolve and change. And I think your music is like a snapshot of you in time, how you're feeling at the moment. And it's okay if you're like, you're not. You can grow and evolve over time, and you can feel a different type of way the next day. You know what I mean?
Sort of the beauty of creating as well. Like you can learn more about yourself, and that's how sometimes creatives see those new changes in themselves. You know what I mean? Like you could be writing some staunch ass stuff, and then you go through something, and then you're just writing like sad songs, and or if you're a painter or whatever, you're painting like dark pictures or whatever, and you're doing different stuff, but you can find new elements of yourself by doing that.
I love like going back to my old tracks, like, because I've like been recording my own music since I was like 13, 14.
Oh, bro.
Like, luckily,
Fusion.
most of that shit is Fusion
Are they
days.
still up on YouTube?
Some of it still is, but luckily most of it's not. But
Look up Fusion,
Fusion.
on YouTube.
Yeah.
But it's cool to see, like you said, I think you had to kind of go into is that growth and stuff.
and I could just look back at all this old shit and be like, I remember where I was when I made this and like how I was feeling, and like it's a little snapshot in time, little time capsules and shit.
Yeah,
It's cool.
That is cool. It's like how on Oscar's YouTube channel, he keeps up like all of his real young stuff of him kind of vlogging and
braces
stuff.
and just
Braces and
hair
like the parkour. And I was like, why do you keep that up there if you're making music? And he's like, oh, because I'll be able to look back on that and kind of, or anyone else can look back on it and go, oh, look where this person was here and now. We talked about it on the pod we did the other night that a lot of us, well, I know that I don't, maybe with more current work, go back and kind of listen to it as much. I feel I don't know if you're the same, Lachy, but with projects or a song, I'll listen to it heaps when it's unreleased, and then when it gets released, I'm thinking, okay, got to get the next one out. Like, got to do the next thing. We come up with a concept for it, and I'll let Hermit take the cake for.
Thank you. Creative post nut clarity.
Yeah.
You know, once you busted that nut, you don't care anymore.
Yeah.
Like, you could hold on to it. It's just like you're edging yourself with your creativity. And then you just get post
Going into some rule.
That's a great
creative post nut clarity, and you're like, done.
Yeah, no, it's
on
true
to the
though.
next. And we're back to this topic again.
Yeah.
And I think with a good kind of way that I wanted to segment this into another thing you've done recently, and maybe you might have had that experience, is with the album, like doing such a huge body of work and the grind that took you years. It was like years,
Apple Isle style. That was a hectic. Like, it was a massive collaborative effort, but yeah, that was like 2 pretty solid years of just like grinding on it. And it's a bit of a it's a bit tricky because you're right. There is that creative post-nut clarity, and afterwards you're like, yeah, that is done. I'm done with it. But then it's like, fuck, that's actually just the start of the process. Now you got to like really market it and push it, and it's like hard to really like find that drive once you do bust that nut into the world. You know?
But
It's
I
a
know
hard
how
one,
stressed
bro.
you were at the end of that project as well, and I think due to being so stressed is what kind of motivated that feeling within you to just be like, oh, I just want to be done with it. So then when you are finished, you're just like, oh, thank fuck. Like, that's such a relief. And then we don't kind of appreciate it. It's hard because it is stressful producing content, making music and all that stuff, especially when you're recording. How many artists?
Oh, it was
60
like
plus?
60 artists, including like the DJs and the singers and the musicians, like the session musicians and stuff.
And you kind of all arrange that yourself, hey? At your studio here.
Yeah.
Right.
The Porn Store Penthouse, rest in peace.
Yeah,
We were
RIP,
talking about that
RIP.
last podcast, actually, because we're talking about how our friends are doers and all that. And we sort of highlighted, like, you know, we all get stuff done, but like, you were manic for that last month, brother. So like, congrats for getting
And
that
to
all
hustle
done.
it up,
and
get-
still
yeah.
hustling it afterwards, you know what I mean? Because it's
that was.
I remember
big
Manners
thing.
posted, maybe it was even like a couple years ago, but he was like 3% of being an artist now is making the art.
So true, man. It's so true.
And,
That's
you
why,
know,
like,
to be able to do a 2-year grind working with like 60 people where hip hop, rappers especially, like 50 of those artists were like rappers. Big egos, big pressure, and then you're just like, I'm managing all this, staying calm. Now I'm
No
just
better
almost
person
at
to
the
do it,
finish
though.
line.
If I'm honest, like we've spoken
bro.
about this heaps. Like, I've often asked Lachy before, like, how do you record so many people? I am quite blunt sometimes, and I can be quite direct in my views on certain people due to how I perceive them. But I think to be in the position that Lachy is in, and he showcases it so well, you have to be quite reciprocative. I don't know if that's a word, but I'm going to keep it as it
It
is.
sounds like a word.
You have to be able to kind of like mesh with a lot of people and work, which is a skill in itself. I struggle with that, hence why like I can be blunt and rude and just be like, nah, not doing it. Like, don't want to work with them, don't want to hang out with them, instead of actually sometimes giving them a bit of time and patience that you need. And I think reflecting on seeing how you work has definitely made me reflect on.
Yeah, you're one of the most patient dudes I've ever met.
He
bro.
is.
Like,
He is.
hectically patient.
Cheers, man. Well, the thing is with when I'm recording people, it's like that I do my job. Like, my job is to just make it sound as good as possible and to make them feel comfortable and to facilitate the best work that they can do. But it's not really my business whether or not they can rap good. You know what I mean? Like,
Have you ever had someone in the studio and you've critiqued them or maybe said, I know when we're in the session, you'll be like, oh, I changed this. And I've always been like, brah, that hits. Have you ever had someone where you're like, oh, you should change this, and they've been hell salty and just been like, nah, bro,
yeah,
what are you talking about?
a little bit. Like I kind of like vibe it out a little bit. Like I sort of, if I feel like there's small, easy changes that we could make that it would flow better or it would work better as a song, and I feel like they'd be receptive to it, I'll always make those suggestions. But if I feel like they're just not, they don't care, or they're like not, they don't want to hear it, and they just want to do what they want to do, which is fair, it's their art, then I won't. But like on the occasion where I suggest something and they're like, nah, then I'm like, yeah, sweet, whatever.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
I like that take. How you were like, it is their art.
Yeah,
like,
it is, bro.
At the end of the day, yeah, that's true. Focus on your own job in that thing and or your own art. Like, and I've always, I'll always definitely take advice from you lads, you know, because I would take advice on the people. Oh, there's a saying, I've butchered it. What is it? It's don't take advice. Don't take
criticism for people you wouldn't take advice from.
Yeah. Don't take, that's the one.
Yeah,
but
I think Manners said that in the track. I don't know if that's a Manners Ill original, but if it is, big up Manners. Actually, big up Manners anyway.
But I think that is important, you know, like, obviously, like
No, definitely, like, I'm not going to listen to a dumb cunt, but if the boys pull me up on something, then
even if the boys and set dumb kind of saying the same thing, always back the boys.
Yeah, no, 100%,
The
bro.
boys.
Like, if some dude that like I didn't want to listen to anyway, pulled me up on something, I'd be like, but like, you know, when we were recording this EP, there are heaps of times you like say that a bit different.
Yeah.
Or like come in at this second or that second instead of the way you did it. And like when I wrote it, I'm like, this is eat slag.
Yeah.
This is dope. And then, you know, constructive criticism. But if some donkey said it, no way.
Yeah.
But sometimes like it's just, it's always like just different ways of viewing it and different perspectives. And it's just all taste too. Like there reaches a certain point where it doesn't really matter how good you can rap or this or that. It's like if you're not feeling it, you're not feeling it. And it all comes down to taste and personal preference. So sometimes like people who you don't vibe with their music or whatever, they can have a legitimately like valid perspective. You know what I mean? Like,
100%.
You don't want to take like criticism and like feedback on your art when the person doing it doesn't really understand or like they don't have the same vision of what you're trying to do anyway. That's why it's so good like working with you for producing this EP that we just did, because we very much have a similar taste in hip hop. We have a similar aesthetic that we're going for, and like we know the sound, like we're very much on the same page.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's what made it click so much, because half the recording sessions was like, have you heard this? Yeah, I have. Well, have you heard this?
Yeah,
like,
true,
and it was
true.
gelling, you know what I mean? And we understood the aesthetic. But I guess you are right as well, you know what I mean? Like, even if you don't vibe with it, there might be something that they're getting that you don't. Like, there is a lot of music that I will happily say is terrible.
Yeah.
But they've got something going for them because they're doing well, and kids vibe with this thing that I think is terrible, and they're like,
and they can be doing that
aesthetic.
particular genre or that particular style well. It's just not the style that you really like.
Yeah, 100%.
And I think part of being like doing the job that I do and facilitating people making the music they want to make is like I have to understand where they're going and like how to achieve the goal and the vision that they want, even if it's not necessarily the kind of music I'm into. Like I want to be like, oh yeah, I see what you're going for and how we can get there. You know what I mean? Like I can't just be like, no, I only like fucking boom bap
Some
music
people would
on
be like
88
that.
BPM.
Some
I'm only
producers
doing it.
and engineers are like that. Honestly, they definitely would be. Like it's the same as like a lot of people. Like you kind of just want to work with those that you mesh with, and that can be, you know, quite good as well. But to be able to be so diverse in your craft and as like with the job that you do, I think is really important. I think, how long have you been doing like and kind of working solo? Yeah, sort of.
Well, like just working for myself, doing like creative freelancing
Dane's
stuff.
Trying to open up some. Dane's trying to open up some M&Ms so quietly, but I can just hear
doing a terrible job of it.
Oh, perfect. Now we've just outed him. He's just scoffing M&Ms.
So yeah, how long have you been doing it kind of on your solo?
About 2.5 years now, actually. This is, my third.
I thought it was way longer.
Yeah, my third. Wow.
Surely
like,
you're hitting 3 years at
we
least.
were recording stuff back in like 2019, I swear.
Yeah, but as far as like my full-time job, like as my sole income, like I've been recording and producing stuff for like 10 years now.
Yeah.
But like as far as like my bread and butter,
crazy.
like all I do, like not on any kind of like Centrelink or anything. It's like, it's only been like, this is my third year doing that.
Yeah.
But
how are you finding that?
It's good, man. It's like, it's a trippy job, really. Like sometimes I feel like, fuck it, it'd be nice to just have some like super stability and just routine, because there's no real routine with what I do. It's like I'm recording someone one day and then I'm out shooting something. I'm like going to Brisbane on the weekend and like, you know what I mean? Like always. It's
cool though.
That's kind of like also
like that is the kind of
that is fun as hell. Like, and that is exciting. But yeah, it does get exhausting. But I think like, man, there's nothing else I would rather do. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
what do you do to manage that burnout?
I don't know. When I work it out, I'll tell you.
That's it. It kind of just comes in waves, eh? Like, you hit a stage and like, okay, this is like hyper extreme. This is so much. And then, but it's good, I think, to like be in check and notice the signs when you are getting burnt out. I don't know. Like,
true.
It's just good to be quite aware of that and reflect back on.
I think that is it, bro. Just like reflecting and being like sometimes you can get really lost in what you're doing right now and like you can't see the forest for the trees. And it does help to just take a step back and sometimes be like, man, I'm kind of like living my dream at the moment. Like I've always like, this is sick. Like I've always wanted to do this sort of shit. And the fact that I am like every day, that's dope. And it's like a lot of work and it's always hustling and grinding and always doing something. And like your mind is always active and you're always thinking like, because it's not all about just trying to like make money too. Like obviously you need money to survive, but I also want to make my own music and be creatively fulfilled and do dope shit that I really like. And it's like you're always going and your mind's always very occupied, but to actually take that step back and reflect on it and be like, actually, life is awesome. It's good, but
it's pretty hard to live off music these days as well. So the fact that you've found that avenue, you know, you were passionate as much as being a producer than a rapper and an engineer and all that, to be able to mesh that and be actually doing it. Because like you came up, like you started entering the scene around the same time as me, as far as doing gigs and all that sort of stuff. Like back in the day, back then it was just bedroom setups, bro. So the fact that you've been like essentially in Tasmania, like a pioneer of being like, no, we're capitalizing this now, like, and not in a negative way, like just, there's money that can be seen in this, and we can actually have higher quality and stuff coming out of here.
Well, we
sounds good,
bro. Yeah, you know what I mean.
But it looks good, it sounds good. Instead of it's just like, let's get this $100 interface, the cheapest microphone possible, film the video on our phones and put it on YouTube.
That's
you know,
what I've
like
always been like on
up
that.
the game,
like,
you know what I mean? You're a bit of a pioneer down here for that.
Oh, thanks, bro. I've always wanted to like just keep leveling shit up and like always just take it to the new level and think of ways in which we can make it more professional and tighter and more. But you're right, I do come from that like I started doing this shit because I was like, I want to make rap songs and I don't know who can record or produce me. So I guess I'll do it I like did it, oh man, when I was like 14, I did all my first couple of albums with like a cracked copy of FL Studio and my little laptop, and I bend the laptop down and rap into the webcam mic. And like that was like how I started. But then it's like always just been, how can I level this up and how can I just like squeeze a little bit more quality out of it and everything. And yeah, it's been sick too, just to like link in with other producers and other people who have been doing it in Tassie for like heaps longer than me, and like, you know,
and even outside of Tassie, like you've had some big links, like some big respect links coming in. Like even it was sick to see, and this is obviously like I was there, so I kind of got to witness it. But when Draft came down, and
that was,
how much that
really
he
cool.
was really like, fuck yeah, the scene's sick here, and really respected you and got you up to even support as well.
Yeah, that was dope. I think that was like, yeah, I don't even remember how that came about. It was either like Draft wanted to get Grace to support and she wasn't available.
That was Earth Boy.
Oh, that was Earth Boy. I think it was maybe Dunners then. Like it was something like that.
You were the resi.
Yeah, I was the second.
I was the first pick, but still shout out.
Yeah, but it was sick though. It was sick. It was sick to meet all those fellas and like Disaster too. He's like
those
OG goat, like as far as beats in Australia goes. It was
and Fire Fast. He actually just dropped something recently. Those lads have been going pretty hard, which is sick to see, man. I remember that gig. I was up here and I was messaging you and I was trying to, because I got up to do Pick It Up with you.
Yeah.
And I was up here and I kept messing up my line like over, and it was just this one bit. I can't remember what part it was, but I'm up here like, it gets so hot up here as well when you're like spraying like your lyrics for a good 30 minutes straight, trying to get it and getting frustrated. Like I'm here like top off, pacing back and forth, messaging Lachy like, bro, I think I got to pull out.
Yeah.
But then pulled through. It was sick. Those Perth lads are awesome. Shout out to those guys over there. I feel they
Perth
definitely
is a great scene.
have a cool scene, kind of similar to ours. Yeah, they're a bit disconnected from the rest of that kind of, I wouldn't say connected, but the rest of Oz. As it kind of goes down the coast bit there in Melbourne.
Yeah.
But what they're doing there is sick. Always been so like nice and welcoming, especially with the ones that I've talked and the lads that came down for that were just sick. I really want to go over there.
Yeah.
I heard it
Perth
actually
is a great scene, bro. And I agree with you. They sort of are like, I think that's why the link between Perth hip hop and Tas hip hop has always been so strong, because we're sort of like, we're talented as hell, but we're sort of shipped out of that like talked about states where like you know Adelaide had a huge rap for a long time with like Delta and Hilltop and all that, and then you know Melbourne's always been the capital, and then Sydney sort of took over for the past 10 years, and
Perth
Brizzy's
has always had a
cats.
hella strong scene, but it is just like Tassie, like just disconnected
like
a
super
bit.
talented. Like, you know, they've had some breakout artists like Complete and Draft have been some top tier names in
Even
Australian
Downside
hip hop
and,
and that, fuck, I can't believe I didn't think of Downside Kings. And, you know, Hunter as well, a bit more of an underground name, but a pioneer at the same time. And
it was really cool when those lads came down, and I was talking to Disaster. He's like, is Topsky going to be here? And I'm like, I don't know, like maybe. He's like, I remember back in the day, like way back, Topsky like sold his house to like, you know, fund this whole show, and like he's like, he brought us all down from Perth to play a show in Hobart. I'm like, bro, that's a sick story, but I highly doubt that's true. Surely not. And then I like asked Topsky, and Topsky's like, we did that. I was like,
Topsky sold his house.
Yeah, I was like, sick. Like, that's dope,
I'll
man.
have to get him on here to follow up that yarn.
So people say that he's sacrificed some stuff for hip hop, but like this man sold his house.
Yeah, man. Like, fuck yeah, Topsky. Big
That's
ups.
crazy.
Yeah, that was really cool. But yeah, they're legends, man. Like, much respect to those guys, all those guys.
How do you find, like, speaking of scenes and stuff, transition somewhat from the Tassie scene to Melbourne? Like, how has that been? Like, have you felt invited by, like, the scene there? What do you think of the scene there? What are the sounds that you hear? And, like, what, if you kind of give a rundown of the scene there, like, what are you saying about that at the moment?
Man, like, before I actually moved over there, I'd been going back and forth to Melbourne for ages, like a good couple of years, like fairly frequently. And yeah, I was actually born over in Melbourne and like lived in Tassie my whole life though. And Melbourne's always been a massive inspiration as far as like the hip hop I love and like the sound I really like. Like that's been
what sort of sound, like a few artists?
The stuff, man, the stuff that really had a big impact on me from Melbourne is definitely like Pang Productions, like Craig Cartel, Rawthenic Records, Uncut Records, like all that sort of like classic like Aussie hip hop boom bap sort of stuff. Yeah, BTE, massive one too with BTE. But yeah, going over there, man, it was super cool, and it's super cool to like link in with all those artists that were massive inspirations to me. But also, there's so many fresh artists over there that are so good. It's crazy. Man. Like even the standard for like freestyling and stuff is hectic over there. Like
they've been going pretty crazy with the battles and stuff over there recently,
well, yeah.
Well, they're not freestyles though, but
a lot of them, there's been a few freestyle battles.
I think you're doing one anyway.
Yeah,
sorry, I cut you off.
Yeah, but also like the break and bread scene, which is come up recently, and like there's a real strong community around that.
Yeah,
and
that's sick.
Yeah,
shout out
really
to them, bro.
cool. Yeah,
that's
shout out to break and bread.
They are sick. They are sick. What they're doing, I definitely see some inspiration with 7-3 and what I want to do with the brand. The way that they host their events, and like I loved the weigh-ins, bro. For
that was
I
really
thought
cool.
that was sick. Like when I saw that, I was like, that's innovative and that is different and that is sick. And then I've seen how they like hustle their stuff, and I've talked to T briefly, and like just really nice dude, and kind of what they're doing, like sick. Big shout out to them, what they're doing for the Melbourne scene, building a community, important, and
they have like break dancers and like all sorts of. They really combine all the elements,
man. Like when I see some of the stuff that's going on, like with like Shining Armor, Breaking Bread, and all that, it's like, man, this is like 80s, 90s steez.
Yeah,
like, you guys are really carrying a torch and really paying attribute to that. And then, you know, as you were just talking about with the Wayne and all that, like,
it's cool.
That Wayne was awesome.
I like that
Very
stuff.
Cool. Very cool.
Those cool little different things that add so much more value to the entire the product. You know,
and
the
they do
thing.
really well at promoting gigs too. Like there's always, we just did a gig on
Bro,
Friday.
I saw the videos for that.
Yeah, the Down Under
Jesus.
Cyphers. It was packed, man. It was sick.
Bro, you
sick
played
gig.
on a bill with Mas Volkov, brother.
Yeah, with all the Pang lads, and that was sick. And Little Snow was headlining, and Grills, and just Vanguard, and Eric.
Wait, one thing quick. Was he dressed up in like a suit and tie?
Oh, he had like
He looked like a priest, eh?
yeah, he
Yeah,
didn't
I
have a
didn't-
tie, but he did have the nice button down shirt and shit, and he was
slacks and
he was
pointy
looking
shoes.
spiffy for sure. Schmicko,
cleaned up for the set.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He
Fucking
did
oath.
well too. He killed it. It
Was
was
that
a sick
just for the
gig.
show?
Yeah, I
Nice.
can't remember like. I think I was like chatting to him just before, or like, you know, we were doing a rehearsal at my place, and he's like, "What do you think I should wear to the gig? Do you reckon I should just go in a suit or something?" I was like, "Yeah, bro, yeah, why not?" And then I like
Big papa.
and then I saw, I was like, "Ah, fair enough." Man.
Yeah,
you actually
you
did.
pulled through.
Yeah, 'cause I
Yeah.
saw like a video of him in an Uber on the way to the gig. And he was just like wearing a hoodie over it or something. I was
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, you know, Grill's advertising a gig. Didn't really think anything of it. And
Yeah.
then I saw a video of him playing. I'm like, he looks like a priest right now.
It's big preacher man Grills.
Yeah, it was sick. Like, I like that he's being himself and feeling comfortable. Like
Yeah,
that.
he
I was
is,
like,
man.
whoa.
Yeah, super
Heck
comfortable, just doing his
Big
thing.
respect to Greeley, man.
Yeah,
Big respect.
So you're
to
saying
Greeley.
like you're liking that sort of the communal vibe that you're seeing in
yeah.
Melbourne
I feel
at the
like,
moment?
man, just also like linking in with that breaking bread scene, and just, you know, what I have before moving over there. I feel like I've just slid straight in and like really
Yeah.
slotted in with that scene, and it just does have like a mad community vibe. Like you always see the same sort of crew, and it's like it feels like a bit of home. Like I feel like that's such a strong aspect of Tassie hip hop as well. And I
Yeah.
feel like in Melbourne it's like the same sort of shit, you know, like especially right now with what's going on. I feel like it's really cool. And it's also cool to just go to gigs and see all these
There's one
legends.
on like how many a week would you say on average at the moment?
Oh man, there's heaps on. Like there's always like there's a really sick open mic on every Tuesday in Melbourne at Thornbury.
Is that Shot
Yeah,
Kickers?
Shot Kickers.
Yeah.
Yeah, called
That
Don't
looks
Sweat
cool.
the Technique, and that's hectic. Like that alone is
Do
dope.
they get the
And then-
band going?
Yeah, they get a full
Yeah,
live
someone was-
band going.
Raz was telling me about this, yeah.
It's hectic, man. It's hectic. Yeah, shout outs to Toomey who hosts that. He's
Yeah,
a
that's
mad
sick.
freestyler. And it's all just like everyone just gets up and like freestyles, and like there's like games and shit, so where people will battle each other, and then they'll do like a compliment round, and like
That's
Yeah,
dope.
it's so cool, man.
Shit,
Like,
where is it?
It's in Thornbury, a place
Thornbury.
called Shot Kickers.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
sick.
They
And
do.
there's just shit like that everywhere. Like that is a standout. Like, but
Yeah.
there's always stuff going on, and there's always gigs, and it's sick, man. Yeah.
Yeah, it is nice. I
Yeah.
think.
Games
Do you
are
think
cool.
with there always
Yeah,
being
really cool.
with there always being gigs on? Say for instance, like an example here, like when there's a gig on, like it's kind of. Especially if it's like a communal gig or something, or someone's putting something on, it's quite a big thing, you know. A lot of people would turn out to it.
Yeah.
Do you think because there's always gigs on, does it kind of take away from that vibe, or do they still turn
No.
up as if it's like they're still, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it
'Cause it's
depends a bit, I suppose. Like there's different like crowds and like little cliques that sort of will turn up and show out. But in general, like the people who are into it are hella into it, and there's really good turnouts. And it depends too on like the venue and the promoter and what the show is and shit.
Yeah, I
But-
think that bit plays a big
Yeah.
part of it. The promoter over
Yeah.
there, like when I saw the video of that gig that you did on the weekend, I
Yeah.
was like, "That's crazy." And I was with Raz, and Raz was saying, "He was like, yeah, T hustles it."
Oh,
like,
he does,
hard,
bro. Yeah, he
which
does.
is cool. But
Yeah.
he hustles it hard, and he pulls through with a sick event. You know, you
Yeah.
don't want to be sitting there messaging someone, be like, "Oh, come to my thing." They rock up, and
Yeah.
they're like, mid.
Man, yeah,
That
big
looks
time,
sick.
big time.
I was like, I want to go to that. That
No,
looks
T
sick. You get
knows
that
what he's
FOMO
doing,
feeling, you know?
man. Like
Yeah.
when he came down with Stav, and
Yeah,
I
that
did
was
that
cool.
video with Clara, bro.
Yeah.
He's like just sitting down schooling me, son. Like
Yeah.
in a healthy way though. Like not a like you don't know what you're doing with gigs, but it was like he knows.
yeah, he's
and was like
he's a mover and a shaker.
and happy to give advice, which
Yeah.
I think is why many of the reasons of why his gigs seem so healthy and
yeah,
happy.
they do. Yeah, they
He's
do.
not gatekeeping and being like, nah, breaking bread's better than everyone.
Yeah.
He's just
He packs them out too,
doing
which is,
well,
which
you know?
is sick.
Yeah.
Like they get, like bulk people through the doors, and they're sick gigs, and it's always a vibe. But yeah, it's sick, man. It's sick playing gigs in Melbourne. It's really dope.
Yeah, that's definitely something that's on my bucket list this year. For anyone watching, chuck us on a bill in fucking Melbourne
Yeah,
City,
let's
baby.
go.
But so you're going up to Brizzy or something? What's doing up there?
Yeah, going up to Brizzy on the weekend. It should be dope. Gonna shoot a clip for my homie Epiphany. I just produced the track for him.
Is that the one, the Pellegrino?
Yeah,
the T-bone?
Yeah. Should be dope.
Shout out Biff, bro.
Yeah.
He's a sick lad.
But he's
bro.
awesome.
Dope rapper. Another one like you that we have like a similar sort of like a taste in music, and we like we're on a similar sort of vibe. And I produced this track for him, and it's come out super dope.
Is it out? It's not out yet.
No, not out yet.
Okay.
But we're shooting the video on the weekend, and then I'm going up to the sunny coast and shooting a couple of clips for Harlem, which will be dope too.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
He was the guy that was on.
Yeah, he battled.
battling?
Yeah,
he came
battled,
as John
yeah.
Cena to the weigh-in.
Wait, did he do the? He had
Did
the big
the
list.
list.
Yeah, he had the list. Yeah,
Hey,
that
he
was
was hilarious, bro.
That was funny.
He's
as.
funny. as.
Man, he blew me away with that. I was like, damn, like
That
oh,
was so
fresh.
funny. I like that.
I hadn't
like
seen
that.
him battle before, but yeah, he was
got
like
a
probably
He's done
it a few
my
times, hasn't he?
favorite. Hey,
What'd
yeah,
you-
I think he has. Yeah.
Have you battled him? Is that
No,
something?
I've got to battle him in like a month, bro.
Oh, is that
in
who you're
Melbourne.
battling?
He's in the freestyle battle.
Word. Yeah.
Right. I'll take back everything. Nah, I'm joking.
Nah, he's fresh, bro. Fuck Harlem, but he's fresh, bro.
Wait,
I've
so
got
that's the
nothing
one
but
in
respect
Melbourne
for
that's
him.
coming up. Who's hosting that?
That's
that-
a break and bread event.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, so
Word.
T hit me up for that.
Nice.
Yeah.
nice.
And I
Well.
think like Manners, Arrows, and
Reason. Yeah.
Reason are judging.
OG Reason,
I will
bro.
get up there.
Sick,
I'll
sick.
get up there. I wonder
Yeah,
if I
come
could,
up. It's like July 8th. Come along.
Yeah, it'd be
Yeah.
cool if I could take the
Everyone
pod
should
gear
come
or
along if
something.
this is out by then.
That'd be
Yeah,
sick.
come along, July 8th.
Come along.
July 8th.
But no,
That's
sick
dope.
you're going up for Epiphany, bro. I didn't realize it was that close because you've been messaging me to come up
Yeah,
for that video.
We're
But
getting it
Piff
done.
is a good lad, bro. He
Yeah.
grinds so hard and he can rap.
Yeah, he
he's
can,
sick.
bro.
Got a really
He
cool
can
voice
rap.
too.
Hella
bro.
underground, but like really can. Like I went up there when I was up Brizzy Way for me B-Day, stopped in at his, went down for the day. I don't know if we kind of kicked it. We wanted to work on a track, but we ended up just
Drinking beers.
kicking it. Yeah, legit. We've done, how many times have we done that, bro?
Yeah,
So, we'll run a track and then end up
100%,
half pissed.
Yeah.
But yeah, we kind of kicked it. But he's a sick cunt, man.
Yeah,
Big
he is,
shout out.
yeah.
If the track, I don't know if it's out, but go straight. It's Pellegrino is the
Yeah,
name.
Pellegrino.
good
We'll chuck
track.
it in the bio of the
Yeah.
potty, but I
Yeah.
think that's pretty dope. But I guess at the moment you're working with a big collective of artists. And
Yeah. Well, I'm always working with a big collective of artists.
have you got many other like projects going on? Obviously you got with Hermit.
Yeah, I've got
is there
the
anything
one with
else?
Hermit's about to drop. I'm always smashing shit out with Grills. I'm working on a little EP of my own, which is cool. Yeah.
Is that? I've never heard that.
Yeah.
I've
That's
been
an
like
exclusive, baby.
Yeah, it's been
Damn.
like I've
We
been.
don't even hear about that off camera.
Nah, legit, that's the first
There
time
you
I've heard
go.
that. Then
You heard it here first. No, it's not like I'm not overthinking it too much. I just want to shake the cobwebs off a little bit because
Yeah.
I've been so deep in the production mode for the last probably year. Like I released my first album like April last year, so I'm just want to shake the cobwebs off, not overthink it too much, just crank out a sick like classic like fun boom bap EP. And
Oh,
then,
baby.
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
all self-produced. You're gonna get other lads
Yeah,
to work on
no,
as well.
self-produced for sure.
Yeah.
But I'll get some couple of features probably, and yeah, a bit
Who
of
you
this,
think?
bit
If you
of
need
that.
a verse, lad,
Give us-
just
give us
hit
a
us
name.
up,
Let's
hit
go.
us
Who-
up.
who
Got
you
a couple
thinking?
of sorted here.
Who would be, if you could pick anyone, who would you pick for a feature on this EP?
Can I
that speak
tell
about?
you?
I'd love to get
say.
you lads on there for sure. That'd be sick. And I also would love to get Grace on there. I've
Yeah.
talked to Grace about getting on there. Also, there's a bunch of Melbourne lads that would be sick to get on
Surely
there. but-
Must is your first answer to that.
Yeah, I've got
bro.
Must doing cuts. Must is
He's already on it, like.
You know, when you
yeah,
asked
yeah.
that question, just why my face was just going like,
yeah,
No, that's
that'll be
good, bro.
fresh.
That's good that you're getting in and creating your own stuff. I think something that I can relate to as well. You get so focused on not creating that personal thing for yourself. Like,
Yeah, totally,
I rarely
bro. Yeah,
write
totally.
music, to be honest. Like I really don't. I'm so focused on this,
Yeah.
like 7/3 and stuff.
That's been a struggle,
and you'd be
man.
so focused
Yeah.
on your, Lachy Hamill music and
Yeah,
stuff, which is
yeah.
working and producing stuff essentially for other people.
Yeah. It can be hard, bro, to just juggle
that balance,
like,
eh?
Yeah, it is hard because you just get so creatively drained working on everything for everyone else, and it's like, fuck, I'm actually a rapper. That's right. Like I have like
I can spit
I got
bars,
music
bro.
to make as well.
I'm an
you know?
MC,
Yeah.
baby.
Yeah, totally. But yeah, I probably can't talk too much about it, but I've got definitely working with the Break and Bread crew on some stuff. But yeah, that's also coming
Soon
too.
to come.
Yeah.
What sort of things?
Yeah.
Just a
Oh,
sneak
you know, a
peek.
bit of
My
this,
brain
bit
that
of
goes
that.
like,
Yeah.
let us know though, bro.
Yeah,
Nah, it's G. I'm sure that we'll hear about it soon. Those guys
yeah,
are
we'll
doing
hear about it.
some absolutely dope stuff.
Yeah, it's gonna be sick though. It's all just, you know, business as usual, smashing shit out. And yeah, come along next month, June, doing Dundee's album launch.
Yeah,
that'll be mad.
He'll be hopping on here soon to have a good yarn about that album and stuff.
Yeah, that's I think 21st of June at the Repub. So I'm
excited.
Yeah, it is.
Done
I saw him today. It'll be sick. I think Dames is doing some. No, I don't think he's doing cuts on it, but
I don't think Dames has cuts on it. I listened to the whole album the other day and it's crazy.
It's a great
crazy.
album, isn't it, man?
Yeah.
He played it for me a few weeks ago. We just got on the piss.
my brain is
hard.
instantly firing.
Yeah.
I'm like, I want to ask his questions, but I'll wait for him to kind of cop on. And
I
spray
feel
a
like
good yarn.
he's like the sound and stuff that he kind of like him and Callum kind of established a bit with Phoenix. I feel like they've taken that to the next level and they've polished it and perfected
Bro, they
it.
climbed the pyramid with that, eh?
Yeah,
Like
it's sick.
Very
If
good collaboration
Phoenix
between them
could
two.
have
Yeah, they've got
compared
a
to
really
when
good synergy.
Callum has worked with other artists, what them two have is quite a polished
Yeah, it is.
sound.
Yeah,
I
and
think
it's because
there's
Dunnes
just as
is
much
so
input.
involved. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
It's
it. Yeah.
just as much input. Like,
He's
Yeah.
even co-producing at
Yeah,
some
he
time, or
is,
doing
yeah.
like
Yeah.
the
He's
guitar.
just
pulling the
strings.
banjo out.
Yeah,
and
he
shit,
loves
and
an
get
old
the-
strum,
yeah.
eh? He
Yeah.
does.
Oh, I have a
Like-
song with Dunnes on that album actually, and the beat
Great
is
track.
very banjo focused.
Do you produce it?
No, Dunnes and Callum did. Dunnes is on the banjo and shit. And like, yeah, it's a banger.
Fuck yeah, no, I'm keen to hear
Yeah,
that,
it's
bro.
done.
You'd be
Hill
getting up.
Billy
Oh, you're
D.
supporting,
Yeah.
eh? You're supporting.
Yeah,
True.
yeah. It'll be sick.
That's why he's plugging the gig, bro.
Yeah, yeah.
So how long are you thinking staying in Melbourne? What's the go?
I don't know, man. Like, definitely not forever. But
Yeah.
I feel like at the moment, there's just like so much awesome opportunity to work with so many people and expand shit like as much as I can. I really have no idea, to be honest.
Yeah.
But
Surely you miss us, mate.
I do. I definitely miss
We
it.
miss you,
But I'm
Raz.
here right now, you know.
We
like
miss-
I'm-
Yeah, it's
you're
good
still
to have
down.
you.
yeah, yeah.
I
we
mean,
can
man's
just hog time after this.
Yeah,
again.
true.
He's still down, and also you're juggling. That bridge is definitely something that I wanted
Yeah.
to work on building, and
Yeah.
eventually get some 7/3 gigs going on up there.
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
would
totally.
be
that would be a
dope.
good idea.
Yeah,
man.
it
would
would.
be a really good
I
idea.
think after I drop this track with Raz,
Yeah,
it might be a good way to kind of beam in. Dane is just fucking
Ready to
staunch
cut
by
this
this
off.
camera.
He's out of M&Ms,
He's
bro.
sick of
He's
us,
done,
yeah.
bro.
So most podcasts might run quite, I don't know, smooth, and they might have a time, but I'm more than happy to stay on air. Like, how are we running for time, Raz?
True.
Oh,
We'll
got
see
5
some of
minutes.
this up. But
Yeah.
what's next, bruh? What's next over the next? Give us a 3-month rundown if you can.
Well,
on what
yeah,
you can
in
say.
3 months, I would love to have. Well, Hermit's EP is going to drop, which will be actually is that 3
Word.
months? It'll be
Yeah,
about
yeah.
3
We're
months,
aiming
yeah.
for end of August. That's 3 months
Yeah,
away.
sick. So Hermit's EP is going to drop, produced by me. So that's a big thing. I'm going to try to get my Boom Bap EP pretty, I'm going to get that cracking too. So it's going to be almost done.
You're going to
Nice.
do wax with that?
Nah. This one's just going to be like shake the cobwebs off, get it done, get it
Crack
out.
on.
Yeah, I think next
Word
year.
up.
No clips?
Next year I really want to work on like the magnum opus, like my solo album that I want to be like the best shit and
Yeah.
go all out for that. But
Oh, yeah.
yeah, I think this year just knock the cobwebs off, smash some shit out. That'll be sick. And just pump out. I would love to pump out a couple of collabs too and get some shit popping. But yeah, just business as usual, man. Smashing out the production and the videos and everything.
Boss, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
If anyone watching that is in Melbourne looking for a videographer, engineer, producer,
me
fucking
up, let's
anything,
go.
This guy.
this is your guy. I think we do have it here as well. We have.
Apple Lyle Star.
He's got a few of these left. Don't know how many you got left.
I've got a few
but
left. But
This has got pretty much
more
every
or less.
single
Yeah, it's got a lot
Tassie
of rappers
rapper.
from
I'm
Not
ashamed to
every
admit
single-
I don't have a copy yet.
You don't
Oh,
have a
shit.
Bro, I'm on the album and I don't have a copy.
Caught one though, hit him up, message Lachy.
Yeah.
It is Tasmanian gold art, the amount of work that got put into it.
Yeah.
Topsky on the cover as well, sick.
Amazing
It's
artwork.
got the
from
comic
Joe
sort
Bar.
of thing in it as
Yeah.
well. But nah, it's been a pleasure having you, bro.
My
I feel
G.
the podcast, especially when it's with your mates, like it goes so
Time
quick.
flies.
Feels like
man,
it's been like
does, eh?
20 minutes.
It goes so
Yeah.
quick, but it was good to have you, bro. I'd love to get you back on and kind of make it. I think we obviously all have quite a good chemistry with the amount of time
Yeah.
we spend with each other off
Yeah.
podcast and camera. So it'd be sick. And you've got a mad future, and what you're doing, bro, is fucking inspiring. And
Thanks,
you
brother.
really-
Likewise, man.
you're paving a way, bro. You are, and you're gonna build that bridge. And I'm proud of you, bro. And pleasure for having you on, man.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
No worries, brother. Good to
All
be
right.
here.
Let's wrap it up.
Yeah.
Done.
7-3,
Peace.
baby.